In this video, we're getting right into the Meta Ads Manager and showing step by step how we set up our ads with cost caps, which makes sure that your ad spend is profitable. If you haven't already, check out parts 1 and 2 where we go over what a cost cap is and how to find your optimal cost caps. But today, we're going into Ads Manager. Okay, so first off, this t-shirt is the product on our demo store that we're going to create ads for. It's pretty simple. It just has a few different colors. Okay, so we're going to jump into Ads Manager and we're going to hit Create. We can select Auction for our buying type and then go to Sales and Continue. And then we're going to set this up as a manual sales campaign. All right, so first we're going to name our campaign. So let's call this Prompted Demo Campaign. And let's work our way down. So categories, we're not in any of these special categories, so we're not going to select one. We're going to, this is what we had selected earlier. It's an auction buying type with a sales objective. And then, so we're just going to turn on Advantage Campaign Budget here. For the budget, you'll first need to know your target CPA. If you're not sure what yours is, check out part 2 where we talk about how to set your cost caps. Link in the description. So if you're new to cost caps, then set a minimum budget of 50 divided by 7 times your target CPA. So let's say your target CPA is $15, then our budget will be 107. But let's just round up to 110. So once you understand your funnel's ideal cost cap, then you can actually increase your daily starting budget to up to $1,000 or more. Now, if this sounds high to you, don't worry. I'll explain later why you're not actually expecting to spend through this budget. But for now, it's better to be conservative, and let's just start lower. So we're also going to have to set our campaign bid strategy. This is where we're actually turning on cost cap. So by default, it's going to be on highest volume. And if you want to use cost caps, which is the purpose of this mini series, then you're going to have to select cost per result goal. And let's just check the other options here. And so now we can click next and create our ad set. So first, we can set our ad set name. So we're going to call this Prompted Original T-shirt, $15 cost cap, broad. So the $15 cost cap is a setting that we're going to set a little bit lower, and broad also is a description of the audience that we're going to set lower as well. So having it in the title just helps us know what this ad set settings are without having to jump into the ad set settings itself one by one. You can get that information at a glance. Okay, so our conversion location is going to be a website because we're sending our traffic to the Shopify store. We're going to make our performance goal maximum number of conversions. We're going to use our pixel here, and we're going to change this conversion event to purchase. And it's going to give you this little warning here, which you can ignore. All right, so here, this is the cost per result goal. Now, this is where we put our target CPA. So we said it was $15, and this is sort of the place where we set up our cost caps and have our cost cap values here. So let's move on. We can look at some of our attribution settings. All this is good. With the dynamic creative, we're going to keep this off for now, but we will create one a little bit later. So stay tuned for that if you want to see how to use cost caps with dynamic creatives. We don't need to really set a budget or a schedule. Okay, so let's look at our audience. Right now, it's set to Canada. We're going to change that. I'm in Canada, so that's why it defaults to that. But we're going to put this to the United States because this is where we do most of our business. Okay, so we're setting it to United States. We'll look at a few more options. Minimum age 18 is good. So we can change this to English just to get to the English-speaking population, so it's a little bit more targeted. All right, so Advantage plus audience. So we can turn this on so that the Advantage plus audience is on. By default, it's all good. And placements, we can use Advantage plus placements. So essentially here, we're pretty broad, right? We're just saying it's US, English, and 18 to 65 plus. So that's considered broad. It's kind of like everyone. Okay, So let's move on to our ad. Okay, so now we're going to give our ad a name. So we'll call this the prompted original t-shirt. And we're going to make this a black shirt. Okay, so next we have an Instagram account that we can connect. Now, I'm not going to connect one because I don't actually create one for this, but if you do have an Instagram account, then you can connect that there. Okay, so now we can kind of get into the ad itself. And the ad creative is actually a really important part of the success of your ads. So that's your images and your ad copy. So, like we talked about in part one, the better the ad, the cheaper your bid. And we'll cover how to create better ads in future videos. But for today, we'll use our store images and some basic copy to just show you how to set up your cost caps. Um, Also, if you're already running highest volume or lowest cost ads and you just want to spend more efficiently, then you can actually use those same ads, particularly your best performing ones, and then just set them up as cost caps. All right, so let's just continue finishing this up. So we're going to add media, we're going to add an image, and I've already uploaded the images here. So let's use this black one here. You have an opportunity to crop or change the way these are placed. So let's just hit next. And you have an option here to select the optimizations to select. We like to just have them all on to let the algorithm figure out what's the best way to show these ads to our potential customers. So let's hit done. And then we can scroll down, and this is where we're going to start adding some of our ad copy. Okay, so let's start off with the primary text. We have this copy that we created, just some basic copy that will show up um, right above your image, so you can kind of see what that would look like. Next, we're going to have a headline. So it says chat and messenger as the default. We are not going to be doing that. We're going to say, in this case, made in the USA. And then we have the option to select a description. So let's call this high quality shirts for high quality people. So you're going to see that this text doesn't actually show up here, but you can see all these different placements that the ad can show up. So in some of these, you're going to see this text show up in there. But I checked a bunch of them, and for the majority of them, they don't actually show. But we like to have this here because it's useful in certain cases. Okay, and so now we can change our call to action. We're not doing message, so we can change this default to we like to use shop now, and then we can update our destination URL. Since this is our shirt here, let's just copy and paste our destination right there, and everything else is good. So once it's all good, you can actually just publish this ad. Now, what we can also do is because we have um, multiple colors of the same shirt, maybe we want to actually create different ads for different colors of the shirt. So normally what we like to do is in our ad sets, we like to have a maximum of 6 ads per ad set. Um, so, and generally we want at least 3 in them. So that gives the ad set some opportunity to find which ad is a little bit better and to drive traffic towards that ad. We generally like to have more than one ad because chances are it's not that good and we need to have more chances for the algorithm to find a winning ad. So what we're going to do in this case is we're actually going to duplicate this ad and we're going to do it how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 other colors. We're going to do it 4 more times. Okay. And we're going to rename these for all the different colors that we have. So we have a blue, we have a red, we have a green, and a white. And we can also change the image for this as well. So let's come down here. Let's remove our black shirt and add in our white shirt. And you don't need to watch me do every one of these, but so we can skip ahead or speed up this section. Once we're done, we can publish all these ads. Okay, so as it's publishing, we can kind of take a look here. So we have our prompted demo campaign with a single ad set inside, which is the $15 cost cap with broad targeting. And inside of there, we have our 5 ads. And so this is just the basic setup for cost caps. We just need to make sure in our campaign that we set it up as a cost per result bid strategy. And then in our ad set, we want to make sure that we've set up a proper cost per result goal. Now, earlier we said that we could also set up dynamic ads. So what we can do is let's just duplicate this and have it in the original campaign. So we've just duplicated these ads. We don't need these extra ones. We just want to keep one inside. So here we're showing that we're selected on this copy. And let's edit this. And we're going to make this a dynamic ad. So we're going to call this DCT. And let's scroll down and turn on dynamic creative. Now, when we go to our ad, we can actually set this up so that we can select more than one image at once. And so in this first case, we created a separate ad for each color. Now we can actually create a single ad and add all of our additional colors as well. So what we can do is we can combine all of these images into a single ad and let the algorithm figure out which one of these images is going to perform best with our potential customers. We can also turn on optimize creative for each person. When we come here, we can actually add different text options to not only figure out which image is best for our customers, but which ad copy would be best too. So let's add a new text option here, and let's actually add 2. So I have here a couple of different versions of our ad copy. So let's just paste this in. So here's one, and here's another. And so now we have all these different combinations that can happen. We can have this copy with this shirt, this shirt, this shirt, or it can be this copy with your blue shirt or your white shirt, right? So there's a lot of different combinations that can come into play. And by letting Facebook or Meta to figure out which one's best, you just have a better chance at finding that winning ad. Now, you can also do this with headlines. You can add headline options and descriptions, but we're not going to do that right now. But essentially, that's it. That's your dynamic creative, and we can also publish this. So let's do that. So there we have it. That's your basic cost cap setup for Meta ads. Now, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier. We said that if you understand your cost caps really well, then you can actually raise your budgets to $1,000 or more. Now, we're not actually trying to spend the entire daily budget. And in fact, for us, our cost caps spend less than 10% of that budget. But what we are trying to do is to selectively spend when the ads algorithm finds customers at your cost cap. So this might be a specific day of the week or even just a time of the day. And this higher budget allows you to capitalize on those moments because the spend rate is actually proportional to the daily budget. So, for example, if you have a $24 daily budget, then at most you can spend $1 per hour. But if you have a $240 daily budget, then you can spend that $10 per hour. But if your cost cap is set too high, there is a chance that your budget will spend through and be unprofitable. So you've got to make sure that you've dialed in your cost caps first. Now, on top of having dialed in your cost caps, another way to avoid overspending is to set up rules. And this is actually a second layer of protection. So we can jump back into Ads Manager and we can create that rule. So if we go to this rules area and create a new rule, then we're going to create a custom rule. And the first rule we're going to create is a rule to prevent spending on an ad that just isn't getting any sales. So in this case, we're going to turn off ad if 3 times CPA, no purchases. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for, in our case, if our target CPA is $15, we're going to see if any ad has spent $45 or more and still doesn't have a purchase, then we're going to turn it off. But what we're going to do is we're going to only apply it to the active ads. We're not going to do it on ad sets or campaigns because it's possible that, let's say, the red shirt ad is performing really well and getting tons of sales, but the black shirt ad isn't. And so we're going to want to cut the spend to your black shirt, and it'll have more budget available for the red shirt. Okay, so this is where we're going to set the conditions. So if spend is greater than $45 and our purchases is smaller than 1. Right? So this way, if there aren't any purchases and it spent more than $45, then we're going to turn off our ads. And we're going to want to run this continuously, and we want to check this on a daily basis. Right? So every day it gets reset. We're going to check to see if that $45 was spent on that day. And so now we can just create the ad. Okay, so we're going to close. Let's say we want to see those ads that we've created. We can actually go to Manage Rules, and we'll see the list of rules that we've already created. So there we have it. This concludes our 3-part series on cost caps. Cost caps is our favorite way to manage ads right now, especially since cash flow is more important than ever. And cost caps can really help with that by getting more profitable ad spend. And now you can use it too. So to recap, we learned what a cost cap is in part 1, how to find your optimal cost cap in part 2, and in this video, we showed step-by-step how to set them up. But we haven't really talked about the ad creatives, so let me know in the comments if you want to see a video on that. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.